Hello there, folks. Hey, Joe Wazoo here today. Today we're going to do something special. We're going to create some buttons to look at different bits in a word. And I say that we're going to widgetize this concept so we can have this button look at different bits, bit 0, bit 1, bit 2, so forth. So let's start off over here on the left, data tags, and we're going to create a new numeric tag. You can hit the pull down or you can do that, but new numeric tag. And this could be mapped to a holding register, Modbus, could be mapped to a integer or double integer to Allen Bradley, whatever, it doesn't matter. But I'm just going to call this word because it's going to be a word. It's going to be a 16-bit integer. And since I'm saying the word 16-bit, I'm going to go over here to Format. And on Format, for this example, I'm going to hit the pick button there and declare this as a numeric. And the reason I'm declaring as a numeric, because down here, instead of it being decimal format, I'm going to select binary. I'm going to give it 16 bits there. And then I'm going to do the group digits, which is nice because it'll group it 0 through 3, 4 through 7, and so forth. Pretty nice. Anyway, so now if I go over here to display pages, I'll go to the right side. I'm going to grab this guy and drag it out here, like so. Let me make this a little bigger so we can all see it here. Boom. And maybe I'll turn on data entry. I'm not going to do anything with that. But so there's basically our word. Okay. And of course, this is bit 0 starting here, bit 1, bit 2, bit 3, and this is bit 4, all the way up to bit 15. Remember, 0 through 15 is actually 16 bits. So in this example, we want to set up some buttons that'll look at different bits in here and turn them on and off. So I'm going to go to the right side, go to primitives, and in the core primitives on the top, if you slide all the way down to the bottom, there's a couple bevel buttons. I'm going to use this bevel button here that doesn't have the text. This one has text, but I'm going to use this one here. And I'll grab one of these red ones. I'll drag it out here like this, place it on the page like so. I'll roll in so we can see it a little better. Now I'm going to right click on this guy and go to properties. And really I want to have this where I click on it, it'll turn on a bit. Notice there's only a few tabs. You got your figure, your line, and your show. You don't have an action tab. You don't have something to assign it to do. So I'm going to click the OK button. I'm going to right click on this guy and I'm going to add action. Right here, add action. And on the action tab now that's viewable, I'll hit the pull down here and I'll choose push button for this example. And I'm going to grab the word, the tag from the right, and I'll drag it right here and place it there. Now, unbeknownst to you, it's probably going to fire bit 0 and that's it. It doesn't really let you choose the bit number. So I'm going to do something here. I'm going to double click a few times in here to where I get the cursor that blinks, and then I'll do a .0, hit enter. Remember, always hit enter after you type in crimson. Notice it turns blue. That means it took it, accepted it. Okay. So I'm going to click OK. I'm going to, for this example, I'll do a smart duplicate. Boom. I'll do another smart duplicate here. Boom. Or copy and paste. Same thing. Normally, smart duplicate will automatically increment different tags down a list, but we only have one tag in this database, so it's not going to do that. However, this one I want to fire bit 1. This one I want to fire bit 2, and this one I want to turn on bit number 3. So I'm going to right click on the second one from the top, go to properties, and I'm going to change this bit number by clicking in here a few times where I get the cursor to blink, put a number 1 instead of 0, hit enter, so it takes it. And I'll go to this one. We'll do the same thing here. We'll change this to bit number 2. Boom, right there. And we'll go here on this last one. It'll be bit number 3. Right there. All right. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3. Let's try this before we get into our real interesting stuff. So we'll download that to our browser. Here we're looking at our browser in this case. So if I turn this one on, notice bit 0 turned on. Turn this one on, that's bit number 1. Turn the next one, that's bit number 2. And this should be bit number 3. Remember, this is bit 0, 1, 2, 3. So as I turn them off, there they go off. Okay, that works great. Now I want to go a step further though. And I'd like to add some text to this that says on and off. And I'd like to make this kind of be a reusable thing so I don't have to go all through all these steps. So I'm going to go ahead and right click on one of these again and copy and paste. And I'm going to take the pasted version and I'll move it up here because I want to do something a little different. So I'm going to leave the originals here. And then this guy, this one right here, we're going to right click on it and we're going to do Widgetize. We're going to do Widgetize here. Okay. So this widget has no data items right now, but really it's going to have 2 items. It's going to have the tag we're going to use to turn on and off, and we're going to use some kind of a pointer to look at what bit number we're looking at here. So I'm going to click the edit button here. I'm going to hit the edit button to the extent and put in a number 2. Hit OK. All right. So I'm going to delete the first data here for the description, which means the first tag or the element, the variable, is going to be called data. Don't worry about that. I'll delete this other one here. And this one, I'm going to call it pointer. You could also call it index or something, but I'm going to call it my pointer. Okay. So both of these are going to be an integer type. So I'm going to hit the pull down here and declare integers. And this data 1 is going to be the bit number in this word. So I want to be able to turn it on and off. So I'm going to make it a writable. And then the tag, I wish we had a word readable after this, because that's kind of what it means. If something else changed it, it would show it on the screen. And then the pointer, it's going to be just a variable that stays kind of in this graphic. So when I hit the edit button here, I'm going to turn on the no bind, because it's not really binding anything else. If I don't do this, if you were doing something else with this and you went to bind it, you get a pop-up say, hey, at least one element didn't bind. I'm going to do this. That'll take that away. All right. So I just want you to remember the data 1 and pointer. Data 1 is going to be the tag, and pointer is what particular bit number we're looking at. I'm going to click the OK button. Here we are here. I'm going to click OK again. All right. So now I got to go into this widget and change the properties of this button. So notice right now, team, I got the red border, and you can see down here it says Untitled Widget. So if I click on it one more time, I get the green border. Now I'm inside that item, working on that element that's inside there, that thing, which is the bevel box. So here I'm in here. I'm going to right-click on this guy, go to Properties. And instead of this guy looking at the word here, and notice that I made a copy, so it did word.3. This is going to sound weird, but I'm going to highlight that, and I'm going to type data1, which is the name of the tag in the widget here, dot, or period, pointer, like that, and I'll hit enter. Now, if you've been to a few of my classes, you might kind of wonder right now, wait a minute, that accepted that, but over here, I don't have a tag called data1, nor do I have pointer. So what happened is this guy just linked to the items that are in the widget. So that's what happened there. I'm not going to do anything else in this one. I'll leave all this alone. I'll click OK, and that'll take care of that guy. Let's go ahead and do a smart duplicate on this, and I'll show you something here. So we'll do Control V. All right. All 4 of these are not connected to anything at this time. So this one right here, I want to look at bit 0. So watch what I do. I'm going to right-click on this guy, go to Properties, and I'm going to take my word, and I'm going to drag it right here. But I want that to look at element 0. So I'm going to change the constant here that had nothing in there to a 0, hit enter, hit the OK button. This one here should go to bit 1, so I'll right-click, go to Properties, and I'll drag this right here, and then I'll put a number 1 here. There we go. And then I'll right-click on this one, do the exact same thing, put that there. And this one's going to look at bit number 2, so I'll put a 2 in the pointer. And this should be looking at bit number 3, so I'll drag the word right there, boom. And I'll put a 3 here, boom. All right, let's go ahead and try this out and see if it works the same. So here we are, simulator. These are the ones we did before. They all work great, no big deal. Turn all off. Now this one, look at, these work exactly the same as I click. Now one thing I'll tell you that I don't like right now is that as I click on these, you don't see any change. I see the bit number, but visually to the operator, there's no change. So the guy would wonder, did it do anything? We're going to add that next. So let's go add some colors. So if I go back here to crimson, and I'm going to click on the first one, again, the purple or the red box around means I'm holding the widget. I got to go into the widget. So now I'm into it. I'm working on the item in here. Here's that bevel box. I'm going to right click on the box and go to Properties. And we had all the colors fixed here on the figure tab. Everything's fixed. I'm going to hit the pull down here, and I'm going to change this guy to a 2-state. So I'm going to do a 2-state, and you can see now you get these colors here. However, I want this to follow data1.pointer item. So I'm going to type data1.pointer right here, enter. By the way, if you're doing this and you accidentally type something wrong, you know that the tag name is pointer. Let's say I type it P-O-L-I-N-T-R. It looks pretty close. When I hit enter, Crimson barks and says, hey, wait a minute. You must have typed that wrong. And this is a telltale sign that, wait a minute, I typed that wrong. It should have automatically accepted it. Oh, I should change this to a I-T-R. Enter, turns blue. Perfect. All right, let's go do the same thing for these other two down here. We're going to go to state. We're going to type here data1. I suppose a guy could copy this and just do a paste, but let's try that. Let's right click, copy that, all that there. Boom. Go down here and do to state. Click right here, Control V, paste it. Oh, that's beautiful. All right, there we go. Action's the same, looks good. Now here's one drawback. I'm going to click the OK button. I don't have, at least I don't know of a way to apply those attributes to these three other Yahoos here. So the only way I find to do this is I'm going to delete these guys here, and then I'll do my smart duplicate again here, which is a copy and paste. And then on each one of these, I just need to change this element here to 1. This one here is going to go to number 2. And this one here is going to go to number 3. There we go. All right, let's download this and let's see what happens. All right, so now if I turn this on, look, it turns green. I can visually see better that it's on or off versus this guy doesn't tell me anything. Oh, and look at this. Because we named that tag, that data1, we called it a tag, if something else changes it, it shows up, which just means it's a readable. That's pretty sweet. Let's go a step further here, and let's say we want these guys to blink when I do this. So again, I'm going to delete all these below. It doesn't really matter order I do this, but I'll delete them all. I'm going to go back into the widget, well, into the item in the widget. So again, I click one time, I get the red border, I'm holding the widget. I click a second time on something in there. Now I'm inside the widget. I'm going to right click, go to properties. And on this one, I wanted to change the color to blink. So if I go to color 1, hit the pull down here and choose flashing, brings up this here, and you can change the rate. I think I read somewhere 3 is the fastest. And I think, team, I guess I don't have the copy paste. So I'm going to do data 1 here, dot pointer, which means when that tag is on, it's going to blink. Now down here you have your colors. So steady color is off, and these are the two blinking colors here that will oscillate between. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to change the background color, steady color, to be red, and then down here I'll change between two different tones of green here. So I'll click OK. I'm not going to do anything to other, leave them solid for this example. All right, and okay, yep. So I noticed the 3 here, and that's just because of this concept here. That's all right. I'll click the OK button. All right, once again, I'm going to do the old smart duplicate. Boom, boom, boom. And again, I got to change the element here, the pointer. This is bit number 1. This one here is bit number 2. And this one here is bit number 3. All right, let's test this, team. Let's go ahead and download it to our HMI. Here we are. Turn it on. We get it blinking. Turn the other one on. We got blinky, blinky. I should have made those rates a little different, but oh well. I'll do the next one rates. Maybe not. All right, so there you go. Oh, I could make that a tag, couldn't I? Anyway. All right, let's go a step further here. And the customer actually wants this to say off when it's off, and he wants it to say on when it's on. So this is a little bit trickier. Again, I'm going to delete these other 3 because they won't have that yet. And I'm going to go into the widget. So I'm going to click one time. I get the red border. Click another time. Now I'm inside the widget. And this time I want to add some text to this. So the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to go over to the right and go to primitives. I'll go to my home directory in my primitives and then back into core. And on top, there's a text box, this little guy right here. Now I want you to notice, team, there's a green border around here. So I'm currently inside this item. So if I drag this out, notice I can't put it here. I can't put it over here. I'm stuck inside here. That's what I want. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it right there. Of course, the first thing Crimson does is it gives you an opportunity to type in some text. So I typed off. You can't really see it, but there it is, off. However, I only want the off to show up when that tag is off. So I'm going to right click on this guy, go to properties. And if I go to the show tab, here in the show tab, I only want this to show up when the tag is off. There's 2 ways you can do this. You can type data1.pointer, enter like that, but that means that it shows up when it's on. I want to not that or invert that. So the 2 ways you can do this is you can put your cursor before this and do a shift exclamation point, enter, and that'll not it. Or if you also want to get creative, you could make this a simple equation, and you could ask the question, does it equal 0? Two equal signs will ask the question, does it equal 0? Hit enter. And therefore, when it's off, when that bit is off, it'll show off on the screen. That looks great. One thing I was going to change here is I think that white font with the red background shows up better. Don't worry about the background here because the page itself is white, so this doesn't show up, doesn't know it's sitting on a red thing or whatever, green. Anyway, I click the OK button. There it is. Now, I want to do the same thing for an on. So again, I clicked away, which closed the widget. But if I click on it one more time, click again, here's that item. I'm going to copy this thing I did, copy, and then I'm going to click anywhere here and do a paste. It's going to paste it in here. Don't worry about it's not lined up yet. We'll fix that in a second. Let me go into the properties of this thing, and I want this one to say on, and in this case, I'm going to change the background or the color of this one to be black. And if I go to the Show tab, I only want this to show up when that bit equals 1. So I'll put a 1 there, okay? I'll click the OK button. Now I want to put this right on top of this guy. So I'm going to right-click on the word off and go to a line, choose centered on. Notice I got trailing X. It's asking me who. If I kind of get in here a little bit like this, click right there on that guy, that puts it right there. Okay? Now, let's go ahead and do the old smart duplicate here again. Boom. Control V, boom, boom. There we are. And of course, this one's still all set up for bit 0. That's great. But the next one's got to go to bit 1. So it'd be nice if that smart duplicate had a way I could make that auto index. I don't know. Somebody who watches this video might offer some advice. And the last one here is going to be bit number 3. All right, team, let's go ahead and download this and let's see what happens here. So here I am now. Click off. There you go. Click there. Notice the color changes. And of course, if one of these turns them off, works pretty slick. So that's how you can use kind of what I call a pointer within a widget to look at a different bit number for that whole word. Of course, there's 16 here, so you can go to town here and make it all happen. One other thing I was going to do while we're here, let's play with that speed a little bit different. So this one's blinking at 3. So I'm going to click one time on this widget, click again. Again, you pay attention down here. You can see right now it says bevel 1. If you hit the tab button, it will tab through the different items. Anyway, I want to look at the bevel button here. I'll go properties, and then I'm going to change this one to a rate of 2 just to see what happens. We'll do that. Click OK. Let's go to the next one. One time I click, 2 times, there's the bevel button. Or there's third time right there. Right click, go to properties. We'll change this one to 1 just to see. And then I'm going to go to the last one. I don't know if I can do this, but I'm going to try it. That's the bevel button, properties. And can I change this to like 0.5? I don't know. I guess not. Never mind. How about we'll go 4 on this one just to see what happens. All right. Let's click the OK button. Click OK. All right. Let's download this team and let's see what happens here. All right. So there's the 3 one. This is the other. That's kind of nice because you get a little bit different frequency, so it kind of jumps out. And that one's at 4, so it's a little bit sporadic. Anyway, that's a pretty cool way, team, where you can make a pointer looking at different bits within a widget. And that's about all there's to it. Hey, thanks a lot, folks. Have yourself a great day.